welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. I am live streaming from London. Let me know where you are watching from. Good to see you on here. Just waiting for TikTok to do its thing. We are going to talk about relationships and knowing what your values are. It protects you from unnecessary drama. Unnecessary drama. Welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. I'm just waiting for TikTok to do its thing. Anyhow, welcome to my live stream. We're going to talk about relationships and knowing your values so that you protect yourself from time-wasting activities, things that have got nothing to do with you, because you are busy building your life by design. You're busy working on your ideal lifestyle. And if you've seen me on any of my live streams, I talk about creating your life by design. Creating your life by design is designing the life that you want, not the life that has been imposed on you by tradition, by your background, by your religious or cultural story that you have walked through so far. So my live streams are usually for people who are over 40, who want to learn new skills, who want to readapt, who want to redesign and make some necessary changes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have just a short time. I'm not going to be here for a long time. I thought I'll come on here. It's a Saturday. I normally don't come on a Saturday, but anyhow, welcome to the live stream. If you have any questions, we're going to talk about owning your space as well. It's a series I've been doing where you can create your own space online and create a business that you can carry and work from anywhere in the world. So welcome to this live stream. I hope if you have any questions that you will prepare yourself to ask any questions, and I'll guide through that process. Okay, so welcome to the live stream. Let me know where you are watching from. Hi, Bintu. Hi. I can't even see that name. And Berta? Where are you watching from? Yulis, where are you guys watching from? Let me know where you're watching from. This is Meg. I'm live streaming from London. It is Saturday. It's just after 9 o'clock. It's just after 9 o'clock on Saturday. We're going to talk about relationships and knowing what your values are. Have you ever been in a relationship with somebody? Maybe it's a friend. If you're a man, you could have some male friends. If you're a woman, you can have some woman friends. But have you been doing life with certain friends only to realize that you are completely different? You don't agree because you've been so busy doing life, right? You've been so busy with your work, you're enjoying your life. And then these friends that you hang around with, because maybe you are, let's say for those of us who are in the West, you don't have any friends. So you're trying to make some new friends, right? And usually if you are one of those people that is polite and, you go along and see where this is going, it's not hard to make friends. But friendship is actually a bit deeper than casual friends. Real friends takes work. That is why there's some friendships that don't work out. We learn the lessons from them, right? Some friendships don't work out, but we learn the lessons from them. There are some friends who have a completely different mindset from you. How do you navigate that if you don't have a lot of friends? Maybe you've relocated to the West and you are trying to make some new friends. How do you make new friends? Because some of us, even in the local church that you go to, there are people who have a completely different understanding than you. So how do you make new friends when you are in a new country, when you are in a place that you've never been before? So we're going to talk about that. And one of the things that I thought I'll talk about is understanding what your values are. Because when you know what your values are, what is important to you, you will protect that above relationships. This is important. When you understand what your values are and you know what those values are, what is important to you, you will not betray your values for a relationship or a friendship. I know this may be a heavy subject for some people, but I'll keep it light. It's a Saturday evening. We're just going to have some fun and chat, and any questions you may have that I can help you navigate those challenges. So understanding what your values are is really important because you will protect your heart from wasting time with people who just take advantage because you're available. That is why you can't be available for every friend. I'm not available for any friendship. People can see me online on social media, but that doesn't mean I'm available as a friend. No. I'm online as a coach providing a service the short times that I come. It is important to understand what your values are. Because otherwise, when you don't understand your own values, this is what brings resentment. This is what brings hate. This is what brings bitterness. This is what brings people squabbling over nothing. Because you haven't defined what your values are. Yes? Have you ever had some friends, like I said earlier, as you are having a chat and you're talking to them, you realize you are not even the same people. Because some people pretend to have the same values as you, but they actually don't. Some people will be in your world. If you are a people person, you're outgoing, you're positive, you're confident, you love who you are. Hi Aisha, good to see you on here. I'm Aisha. Good to see you. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. I think you sent me an email. I hope I responded to your email or maybe somebody else. Now, what is TikTok doing here? TikTok is doing something on the screen, but anyhow, you know why having your own values matters? It's you deciding, this is who I am, this is what I care about, this is what is important to me. And to fight to protect that. Listen to Coach Meg's wisdom. When you don't know this, there'll be people who come around you and will try and take away the values that are important to you. There are people who will try to impose their values on you because they like you. There are people who will try and impose their values on you because they like you. On my journey, I've met some interesting characters, as you would imagine. And there were times where I was really just like happy-go-lucky, enjoying myself, having fun, only to discover this person was pretending to be somebody they are not. It is important to show up in the world as you really are. I remember when I worked in South Africa, and I noticed the difference working in South Africa and working in the UK. When I worked in South Africa in the hospitals, it wasn't hard for you to know who doesn't like you. Those who have a bias towards somebody of my skin tone, you knew straight away. They just showed you straight away. There's a saying, it's from somebody who's, scriptural. It's better to be slapped with the truth than to be kissed with a lie. I prefer people who don't pretend. Straight away they don't like you, they don't like your energy for whatever reason. Right? And I don't even need to understand why somebody doesn't like me. I don't need to understand. I don't care. Yeah? Yeah, sometimes you never know. And you only find out later. Sometimes I would get dreams about people who pretend to be my friend around me. And I remember sharing this with a group of ladies, and they were like, "Oh, Meg, it's scary to be your friend." I said, yeah. If you're trying to be like this, and it's not because I am the most special person in the group, no. It's because all of us have a different life assignment, all of us have a different journey. And it is important to understand what your journey is so that you only surround yourself with people who are helping you. Right? And of course, there is a season for learning the lessons. Sometimes we need to learn the lessons. That's why we become better, we become stronger. That is why no relationship is actually a waste, as long as we are willing to learn the lessons and move on from them. Yes? When you learn the wrong lessons from negative relationships, you can end up bitter, resentful, suspicious of everybody. You can't tell who's a good friend and who's not, which is really sad. There are people who can't tell this is a good friend in their life and they mismanage that friendship. And it's a shame, and they end up like, I'm lonely, I'm miserable. Yes, because you haven't been learning the right lessons from every person that comes in your life. Because some friends come to bring out the worst in us. Some people come to bring out the best in us. So we have to choose. But either way, at the end of the day, you have to decide, what are your values? Where are you going? It's also known as autonomy. And that can be a huge responsibility to carry on your shoulders. And it's leadership. It's becoming the king and the queen in your life. where you take responsibility for your decisions, good and bad and the ugly. One of my ways to know somebody is growing and is maturing, it's nothing to do with age. It's how they own up to their own mess and their own stories, whether they take responsibility for their dumb decisions. They are grown people who don't take responsibility for their own decisions. I've just realized something. I'm not on TikTok a lot on the live streams, that there's some things you can't say on TikTok, I'm realizing. So, if I say something that TikTok doesn't like, I made a comment on somebody's post and, TikTok didn't like it. I was like, oh, okay. I thought that was a straightforward comment. But anyway, TikTok is just one of my platforms. This is not the only platform I depend on for growing my community. Anyhow, welcome to my live stream. This is Coach Meg. We're going to talk about relationships. I want to help somebody who has decided, I don't want to waste any more time in my life. When you're after 40, you haven't got time for try and error. After 40, you haven't got time for try and error. When you're trying to build a business, when you're trying to break away from family patterns, you haven't got time for nonsense relationships. You haven't got time for these players. You haven't got time for double-minded people. You haven't got time for people who don't take responsibility for their life. Somebody said that is why very wealthy people, they're very selective of the people they hang around. Now, you don't have to be a multi-billionaire to learn that wisdom, right? You don't have to be a multi-billionaire to learn that wisdom. It's just deciding, you know what, I know where I want to go in life, and there's certain type of people I don't want around. Some people may think you're too much and all that. Yes, I am. You have to say to yourself, yes, I am. Because I don't like people that are weird and strange and who don't take responsibility for their own life. Blaming everybody else. Wait a minute. Right? Say like in dating scenarios, I'll touch a little bit on that one. It's something that I want to tackle on another day. You get to know somebody, they like you, and you like them. After a while, it's like, you're not what I thought you are. Now, ladies, any ladies here? You cannot get emotionally involved with somebody you don't know yet, just because they are saying all the sweet nothings to you, also known as love bombing. I said at the beginning, knowing your values. You know why it's important to know your values? When you decide there are some things I will never do, I will never compromise who I am, you protect yourself from unnecessary heartache. When you know your values, it's like you protect yourself from scams. There's some sad stories online about scams and relationship scams. There was a movie that I watched a while ago, just skimming through, somebody on Tinder, but he's on all these dating platforms and was scamming women, business women, career women, all types of people. Every time he manages to scam them out of money, he would disappear. So it's a topic to talk about. Knowing your own values protects you from useless people. And scammers are not just online. Scammers are even in everyday life. So what are your values? You have to decide. What are your values? What is important to you? What mistakes did you learn from your parents that you decided, I will never do that? What traumas could you be recovering from? What are the important things to you where you decide, I do not need to go through unnecessary pain, right? And it begins with knowing your values. Like, you don't need somebody else to tell you they love you, you are beautiful, you're amazing. You have to be telling yourself that every single day, every single night before you go to bed. Every single night before you go to bed, I am the best version of me, because really and truly, this is scientifically proven. Nobody else has your DNA like you. It's just not us as speakers and motivational speaking and coaches saying there is nobody like you. It is the truth. I pray you believe this. There is really nobody else like you. You are so special that you cannot allow people to mismanage you. You cannot allow anybody who comes into your life to mismanage you, because there are people who will mismanage you. They will like something about you, but they will not know what to do with you. Some people also like you. Some people like us for something that you carry, your essence, the grace of God on your life, the anointing on your life. And when you don't know this, you don't even realize what you need to protect. Knowing your values is where you protect who you are as a person. If there's something you don't really like about yourself, like, you can improve, because number one, we have to love who we are regardless. Yes, we have to love who we are regardless. If there's something that you can improve about your looks, absolutely do something about it. All these stars that we admire and observe, they do something about it. Jennifer Lopez, CC Winers, Christians to non-Christians, they do something about it. Celebrities do themselves up. You don't need to be a celebrity to love who you are and make yourself look and enjoy the best version of you. Yes? Do whatever it is to improve who you are. Listen, Coach Meg is speaking. Coach Meg is speaking. Whatever it takes to make yourself feel powerful, to make yourself feel confident, start working on that. Do not outsource that to another person in a relationship. There are a lot of damaged people. Let me just tell you the truth. There are people who are not willing. Maybe you're watching this live stream and relationships have made you feel like you've had the experience. Hi, Tinu. Good to see you on here. Good to see you on here, ladies. Ooh. We have to be building ourselves up. Do not give that responsibility to somebody else to make you feel great about yourself. Here is a routine I say to my coaching clients. Before you go to bed, speak well of yourself. I love who I am, because media is trying to tell us who we need to be, who we need to fit in. This comparison is absolute trash. It's nonsense. Because the more you compare yourself with others, you don't have time to take care of you. Thank you so much, Tino. Bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much for the roses. I love roses. Much love to you, my friend. When we are not working on ourselves, right? We are too busy. Low income jobs, they're not even paying you enough, or a struggling business, you're not making enough. You don't even have you're not even in the right mindset to choose a good partner, right? Because life is keeping us busy. Where you don't even have, I appreciate you, my lovely. I appreciate you. I love your voice, Tinu. I love your voice on your ads. You have such an amazing voice. Wow. And I hope everything went well for you after that event with your family, Tinu. I hope you're okay. You know what, guys? Take it from Coach Meg. Having traveled and worked in 3 different countries, working in healthcare, I realized something. There's something about the mind that if you don't protect your mind can work against you. Let me give you an example. I was watching one of the TikTok. I watch a lot of different videos. It's for research purposes, and sometimes it's just for entertainment. Now, listen to this. God has given us our mind to help us, right? To think correctly. But if you don't use your mind correctly, it can work against you. And weird people who don't care about who you are, will take advantage of that and use it against you. They can use your own mind against you. Listen to this story. And I know sometimes it's because there are patterns in a family where people are not learning from the mistakes of their parents. They continue the same patterns. But anyway, listen to this. On this video, this woman called the police because, listen to this. She called the police because the person she was trying to sell drugs to stole the drugs from her. This woman called the police to report a crime that this person that she wanted to sell drugs to stole the drugs from her. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This cop was swearing he was going off. I was like, it's, let me be a bit vulnerable here. When I was growing up, my dad was a charming man. Bless him, he's in heaven now. But there was a season in his life when he wasn't really enlightened. I know, Aisha. It was just like, are you for real? If you need a drug to make you feel good, that is dangerous. If you need a drug to feel confident, that is dangerous. That is how codependency works. If you need a man to feel beautiful, if you need friends to make you feel like you are worthy, that's a lie from the pit of hell. I know we all have different spiritual backgrounds, but all the stuff that I talk about, most of it is rooted in the Word of God. Some of the things I talk about is psychological stuff that I've learned on my own journey. If you need to be married to feel like a woman or somebody, that is not safe. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that this life we have to be careful that we are able to make our own choices, not because we are influenced by somebody else's music, because we live in a broken world, yes? And some of the pain and hurt most of us experience is because of relationships. So anyway, let me go back to my story. There was a time when my dad wasn't enlightened. You know, he was a young man, a lot of energy, and my dad had a passion for life. He was the kind of guy, some things I have to be careful what I say. Oh, anyway, I'm wise, but I'm giving a teaching story here. I love my dad even before he left, before he went to be in heaven. We always had a great relationship. I was his oldest, so I've got the oldest blessing, right? The challenges that go with being the oldest. Oh, yo. Anyhow, he would take me to the pub and show me off to his friend. Oh, you know, with little red shoes. I've talked about this story before. So even as a young girl, even if he wasn't a perfect man, he showed me how a man needs to treat a woman. Because we are queens as women. We are not perfect, but we like to be treated as a queen. And if a man knows he's a king, he will treat you like a queen. Come on, let's go. And there are many men who do not want to rise to the standard of a king because it's too much effort. Okay then, if you want to live on the trash heap, if you want to be a bum, if you choose to be a fool, get away from here. Go over there. Go over there with your friends. Because you can't be a grown man and still behaving like you can't think for yourself. That doesn't make sense. And if anything, let me say something here. Ooh, ladies, guys, thank you guys. Top form, good to see you on here. I appreciate what you're doing on here. So good. Because you see, this is the dignity. This is spiritual. God created us to be able to rule our world as kings and queens. So if a man is not ready for a relationship, please keep to yourself. If you are not ready, please stay with your mental health issues. Get them sorted. That is dignity. Because tomorrow you're going to turn around and blame the woman. Oh, she just wanted money. It is pathetic when I see some men talking about, oh, women, they just want money. Oh, my word. I like people who challenge me. Can I just say, I'm being vulnerable. I'm being vulnerable. I like a challenge. Because a challenge makes us rise up. A challenge forces you to become the better version of yourself. A challenge helps you to get rid of your nonsense so that you can become the king and the queen that you deserve to be. When you're a king and a queen, you can't dance to anybody else's tune. Let's say, for example, let me give an example here. The Prime Minister in the UK, right? He's got his world, his politics and all that. But if we are in the same room doing interviews or he comes in my space, there has to be a certain level of respect, even if I'm not in politics. There has to be that sense of you are another human being, you deserve to be treated with respect. Does that make sense? I know some people are going to say, oh, who does she think she is? No, I'm trying to talk about basic human dignity. right? Basic human dignity. Every human being needs to understand that. So that means I must have a great relationship with myself first. Ooh. Having a great relationship with you first. Hey, Code, good to see you on here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for all the likes. Thank you so much. Let's go for 5,000, guys. I kid you not. What you're going to hear tonight is going to be so empowering. And by the way, it's not directed at anyone. This is general advice. But you will pick up something that will be life-changing. Yes? Do not go off and feel, if something triggers you, it could be, maybe it's an issue you need to start working on so that you can heal. Yes? But I am coming from a great place to empower you to live your best life. Because some of you are multi-millionaires in the making. Some of you are billionaires. Some of you are world changers. Because that's the kind of person I am. That's my mindset. So I speak to world changers. Yes? Our world, the people group that are connected to us, all of us have people that we are supposed to impact in this world. We don't have to compete with anyone. All of us have a group of people that we can have an impact on when we are rising and as kings and queens. No competition. No competition. No competition. Because as we become honest with ourselves, as we become the most authentic version of ourselves, our people start to show up. Your tribe, right? Your vibe attracts your vibe. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Slow down, Coach Meg. Whoo! Somebody needs this message. I can feel it. Somebody's pulling on the grace on my life. Oh my goodness. Because you see, as we develop our own relationship with ourselves, where you realize, I don't need external validation. I don't need anybody to compare me with Oprah Winfrey or another model in the street or another African or another nurse or another doctor or another coach. That is other people. People will do that. People will compare you. That is their business. That is not our business. Our number one full-time job is to take care of who we are. That is why, guys, I am such a passionate advocate of building your life by design. Because when you're living your life by design, you make room for personal growth and development, right? You make room for that. And when you want to leave an impact, because I'm hoping those of us who are listening, right? We are over 40 and we realize to leave a legacy, to make sure you don't leave this world with nobody even remembering you. After your funeral, that's the end. Nobody even knows who you are. Like, wait, I was here in this world 40, 50, 60, 70 years. There's no record of anything or what I've done. You mean I came here to just play? No, thank you. Ooh, a YouTube account that even when you're not here, you left a message. Ooh, when you, So we begin now, right? After 40, we've learned all the lessons. So number one, healing our relationship with ourselves. That's the number one relationship. Forget, the person I'm with, my children, my parents. Because you see, somebody was saying this guy who started learning to read at 30. So inspiring. A grown man, he said, I'm learning to read at 30 years old. Things that a lot of us take for granted. I'm so proud of that guy. I was watching his live and I thought, how courageous is this guy? We are living in a time, guys, where if you are not brave with your life, if you are not brave, if you accept what society pushes on you, there's no legacy. I have a big family. I have big brothers. And I will not be silent. There are times my brother, he's my brother and he calls me Coach Meg. I'm like, I'm your sister. But it's like it's a sign of respect. He's like, Coach Meg, wow, what you said on Facebook. Wow, Coach Meg. It's like he recognizes, though I'm his sister, He also recognizes my office, my spiritual office in life. And I'm sure some people, it will go over your head. You'll be like, what the heck is she talking about? Anyhow, our relationship with ourselves, making time to take care of you. When you are, I've got a program, by the way, that I'm promoting at the moment. And in this program, I'm calling it Owning Your Space. I'm just taking a break to quickly talk about this. Owning Your Space is a program where you can start working online and create your own presence, a very strong presence online, an office online, so that you can work from anywhere in the world, and so that you can work 2 days if you want, or 3 days if you want. But the rest of your time, because listen to this, the rest of your time you can spend going through your own healing. You can spend time recovering what you may feel as lost time. Yes? This is valuable, guys. This is a kind of program that should be 15,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000. Because when you want to regain lost time, for example, some of us didn't have great relationships with our parents or our siblings, or it could be children or an ex-partner. When you are living your life by design, where you have decided the kind of business you are building, you have time to make up for all those things. Because I don't know about you, but to me, family matters so much. Family matters. Family is a priority, because if you don't make the priority, nobody else will make that priority for you. Yes? So owning your space is deciding, I don't want to grow old later, bitter with resentment because of things that didn't work out, or because of people who took advantage of me. This owning your space is making room for yourself to start healing. Maybe there are people you spent a lot of time with, you invested in them, right? It could be an ex-partner, it could be friends, but they left you feeling like they took advantage of you. When you are owning your space, you're making the money, but you also have time to go and speak with a therapist. Especially some of us with an African background. We are too tough, too hard on ourselves for some reason. I don't know why. We're really hard on ourselves. I'm not sure why that is. It doesn't need to be that way anymore. My coach, he said something. I was just like, ooh. He said, you have to be careful not to work your body to the ground, which means leaving this life prematurely, when you could actually work your brain, work your mind, everything about you, because your mind is more than just your brain, your thoughts. Your mind is everything about you, how your body is picking up the energy wherever you are, your sensitivity. So owning your space, this program that I've been working on and creating for those of us who are over 40 who want a better way of living. We want to do things differently. We want to learn new skills. There are many things I'm still learning. This is not about a community where other people are like, oh, I'm better than you. No, this is a community where we are all learning together. Yes. If it's something that I'm not good at, I find the expert who's good at that area. For example, like automation. Some of you already know these ideas I'm sharing. Automation is where everything is working in the background. You're making money, but you're not even actively in the business. All you do is you check your messages in the evening. You know, you've had a nice day at the beach. You were spending quality time with some friends or a partner or a new date, you know. And you check your messages. Oh, you've had so many orders. Oh, you know, this is the fulfillment. This is how many leads you had. This is how many sales you've had today. Oh, come on. I don't know about you, because I know what it was like to work 12-hour shifts. So to be working on a business that can get everything done without me being physically there, all I need to check is how many sales did I make today? That is so attractive to me. Because why should we settle for bad relationships for the rest of your life? For the sake of loyalty. What kind of loyalty? Loyalty to trauma? Loyalty to the struggle bus? What kind of loyalty is that? That is misplaced loyalty. That is absolute nonsense. Let me just say it like that. That is absolute nonsense. Loyalty to dysfunction? No. What nonsense is that? No. So, going back to healthy relationships, the number one relationship that matters the most is the relationship that you have with you. If I tell you on my own journey how many times I would challenge myself like, Meg, that was on you. You gave that person permission to say that nonsense to you. Being straight up. Because that's what maturity is. That's what confidence is. Where you can correct yourself like that is you. You gave them permission to say that. Let me go back to perhaps owning your space online. Let me give some practical advice. When you are feeling strong, when you are making power moves, boss moves for yourself, this is giving yourself permission with no apology. You don't have to explain to anybody else the decisions you are making for your life, because we all have one life, right? One life. And this is not in any way making, it's like I'm just being arrogant. No, where you decide, I know what this is like when I give people too much permission. There are people who misunderstand. They think your kindness means whatever they think it means. So owning your space on like for example here on TikTok, right? Own your space on TikTok. If you're building your TikTok account, decide, I was checking TikTok's minimum requirements, post 3 to 5 times a week. 3 to 5 times a week. But if you are really being ambitious and you can make time for it, post 3 times a day minimum. 3 times a day for 6 days, if you can do that. If you are really ambitious and you are like, I haven't got time for nonsense and I really want to get this going, make sure a minimum once a day, but 3 times a day is really good, right? I'm just giving these tips for anybody who's already got that in mind, okay? So I'm answering some objections ahead of time. You do that for 90 days, 3 months minimum, you'll notice a difference. Why am I saying this? Social media is brilliant for generating new business, but we have to be willing to be consistent. You have to keep showing up for your customers, new and old, those who know you and those who don't know you. We cannot be limited to just the people we know. Yes, some of you keep the same people in your world. That is not smart. We cannot only have people in our world that look like us, that think like us. Then we're not growing, right? Then we're not growing. So owning your space, what else? Instagram. If you're really ambitious, have an account on TikTok, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. This is part of the coaching that I do. Where else? On Medium, especially if you have content, you are a creator, you love writing, or you are an aspiring author. You want to make sure that one day when you are not here, you will leave a legacy. Write a book. I've got some in the works. Write a book. Write a book. And more. Leave some wisdom for your children when the time comes, right? Leave some wisdom for your children, for your family. Write about your journey, the struggles, the challenges. Let it be something that your family will remember, like, wow. We have to change those mindsets. So owning your space. Where else? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. Where else? X, Medium. Medium is a content platform. Where else? WordPress, if you want to write a blog. Where else? Owning your space online. All these are helpful ideas to build a strong community and a strong presence online. I'm a huge advocate of this because I've been in the online space for a while and I've realized what works and what doesn't work. Another account on YouTube. YouTube is really good for creating evergreen content and trending content. I'm building mine. I'm still building mine. And I have a 10-year goal. I'm not doing YouTube or anything I'm doing just for quick results now. That's for children. Instant gratification is for children. Yes, and I'm talking about mindset. Those of us who are not here to play or to waste our time, we are thinking long term. Yes, and if this resonates with you, reach out, leave me a message, let me know, Coach Meg, I really like what you're saying and I need some support. I need to move forward. I don't want to waste my time. And listen, guys, all this that I'm saying, I speak to myself as well. We have to be willing to be committed to the new version of who we are. Because I know when I lived a life outside the new version that I created, that I agreed who God said I am is who I am. And I will not settle for anything less. If you don't write your story, nobody else can do it for us. Nobody can. Some of you already know these things. This is just encouragement. Yes? If you don't write your own story, nobody else will. And if you don't write your story, somebody else will tell you who they believe you are, and you can settle there, and that's it. Let me give you an example. I was trying to help really talented lady, a Nigerian lady. I could tell how skilled she is with the job that she does, and I wanted to support and help her with her journey. But because she's not in that mental space yet, she was just like, oh, Coach Meg, it's too much for me, I can't cope. And it was really cute for me to see. I was like, wow, the mind is an interesting thing. The mind is an interesting place. Because guess what happens? When somebody presents a better solution, we start to feel like, oh, I can't cope. Can I sustain it? Oh, I'm not sure of myself. You know, the old fears start coming up. Here is some helpful guidance. When your old fears start showing up, you know you're onto the money. You're onto something good. It means you must press past that fear. You must push past that fear because there's something that fear is trying to block you from. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Just a reminder. Let me give you a little bit of vulnerability on my own journey. When I first decided to relocate and start building a whole new life, it was scary to come to a country I'd never been in before. I didn't know anyone. I had no support system, nothing. Was that easy? No. That was wild. That is crazy. That is nuts. There are people in America who've never gone anywhere else out of their country. There are people in Britain who's never gone out of their own borough. So I didn't come this far to settle and accept and just go with the flow. No, thank you. I didn't push past all those fears to settle. This has to be our mindset. It is not about trying to be whatever people will say you're trying to be. It's deciding, I create my own journey and I have the freedom to have autonomy, right? So relationships. When we are in our own place where we can control our environment, you know what you can control? How you see yourself, right? You can't control how other people see you. You cannot control how other people see you, what they say about you, what they think about you. That is too much energy. That is too much energy. All we can do is to focus on who we are and who we are becoming, right? Listen, guys, those of you who really want to grow your social media account and you resonate with some of the content I'm sharing, please subscribe. Yes, it's only about £6. And then we can do some live streams together. We can share some ideas because there's so much talent on TikTok. Oh, I love TikTok. There's so much talent. There's so much talent on TikTok. It would be nice to hang out with some of you. Let's grow the community together. Some of us have similar stories, and all I do is just remind you, you are amazing. Do not allow anybody to silence your voice. Do not allow anybody to silence your voice. Do not allow anybody to silence your voice. Yes, I hope this is making sense to you. I hope you are feeling empowered. So, let me also touch on the sneezing. It's too much. Please. Why did it have to be now? Yes, it is what it is. Yes, no. Sorry, it's just I'm sneezing here. Somebody's cooking. Like now. Anyhow, hi Tiggy, good to see you on here. Relationships are interesting and amazing. I remember one local church I used to go, this guy really liked me. He was obsessed. Bless his heart, he was so cute. One of the leaders, it was so cute. But because I was in a season where I was trying to navigate, I don't think I even handled his attention well. I may have hurt him, I don't know. I did later on check. But I remember thinking, this is too much. Because it got to a point where he was trying to manipulate my attention, would be in a big group and he would start saying some interesting things. Like, oh, Megan. And I was like, no. Because sometimes people use, mob psychology to try and get you to comply. And I was just like, speak for yourself. I don't think the poor guy expected that. Why am I saying this? Sometimes people with a religious background, they get manipulated into some awful, toxic relationships. Just because you go to the same church doesn't mean you have the same values. Just because you read the same Bible doesn't mean you get the same understanding. I hope this is helping somebody. And I shared on another live stream, if you have a church background and you've gone through divorce, let me share some wisdom from the Apostle Paul. There has to come a time where we start accepting the truth, who God says we are. Just because you've gone through divorce or you've gone through a horrible breakup doesn't mean you are damaged goods. Now you should settle and accept anything or whoever. God loves you more than he hates divorce. This is a very liberating statement. Please share this message with somebody. If you meet somebody who has a church background and they still feel guilty because they went through divorce, or you may be in that situation right now, where people are giving you this religious jargon, they don't even know what your situation is, or they say, oh no, you can't go through divorce, or they just talk, they have no idea what you're going through. Be careful of that. Because if some people understood what you're trying to walk away from, even they wouldn't date that person. They wouldn't marry that person. We know some pastors' wives who were experiencing abuse. Yes? That it was public in media. I remember one pastor who was really passionate many years ago. And behind the scenes, he was doing weird stuff. And the poor wife had to deal with the fallout of all the secret stuff. Now imagine these stories happen in churches. Now imagine those who are not even in church. Because people don't realize all of life is spiritual and your relationships cannot be with anyone. There are people who carry devils around them. They are looking for recruits. You don't know the spiritual background of the person you're dating or who's showing an interest in you. It may get scary for somebody here. This is adult talk. This is mature stuff here. You cannot just date anyone. You don't know what that person is carrying, what wicked altars that person has from the background. Because now you're going to be claimed into some weird spiritual story. One lady said, you have to go through deliverance before you even get married. So now I was talking on the surface, right? Now I'm going underneath. Somebody else said, if you marry somebody who doesn't fear God, you're going to have the devil as your father-in-law. I said it. You'll be dealing with problems that you have no idea. There are people who are so susceptible to anything. You're an amazing person. You're an amazing character. You are supportive. You're great. But this guy just doesn't get it. And he acts all weird. He goes off with another woman or he does weird stuff. You have to think, wait, what are you smoking? You can't tell if you have a good thing. What are you smoking? I'm coming strong on this because I know many women still feel guilty, feel bad about some relationships they had to walk away from. You don't have to. You have to answer to God for the choices. Because you see what I've also learned. God shows us people's character. And if you choose to ignore, you have to deal with it. God shows us warnings. Life shows us warnings. Yes? But when you are not in a healthy place, this is important. That's why I'm talking about building yourself up. Building your own lifestyle, right? Taking care of your money. How to support yourself. Understanding who your support system is. Who is a part of your support system? Your real support system. Right? Here is helpful advice that I will not take for granted. Even as adults, because sometimes we've been working hard, we've been surviving, we haven't created a healthy system, a healthy support system around us. That's why when I talk about relationships, it's not just romantic relationships. I'm speaking relationships in general. How to understand who is really part of my support system. Even now as I'm speaking, I want you to think, who is really part of my support system? And where does every person fit? Because when you start to evaluate your relationships, you'll notice some relationships are just placeholders. And do you know we become stronger when you spend some time alone? We become better when we spend some healthy time alone. Do not let society or tradition or culture pressure you into being in a relationship. And if you are a single parent, take it from Coach Meg, wisdom from Coach Meg. You are not damaged goods. You do not have to settle for anybody. You can sort yourself out so good. You are the prize. Spending time with yourself helps you to know what you really like. When you choose to come and be just with you, to be really close with yourself, to be vulnerable with yourself, to see yourself, that's what intimacy, that is why intimacy works better. When you are able to see yourself first. Ooh, this is so good. This is so good. Where are the hearts, guys? You guys, don't be quiet. Where are the hearts? When you can really see yourself, this works for men as well. Guys, do not lie to yourself. Know yourself, guys. Because when you know yourself, you love yourself. You know what doesn't work for you. you will know that these kind of people, I can't cope with somebody like that. Just because they're attracted to you, you're going through your lonely season, you'll be fine. You can survive the single season. Come on. You can survive. You'll be okay. The single season is the season to flourish, to start glowing. Where it's not just about the filters, but you really, really, really love who you are. Where nobody's opinion about you matters, and that's not even arrogance, where you know how to live in life, right? You know the social skills, you're not being weird, but you can spend quality time with you so you can see who you are. Like, what do I really like? What do I really like? Yes? What is wrong with that? Oh, if you're not married by a certain age, no, excuse me. What do you actually mean? Do you mean you want me to get married quickly because you need somebody to bail you out of your circumstances? So now you have to pressure me to get into a relationship to bail you out. That is what you actually mean. Or you are conforming to external pressures. Oh, there must be something wrong if you are not married yet, you don't have children. Wait. So, and of course, I don't mean we have to be like that, mean to our family members. You can think that, but your words must be no, auntie, no, mom, no, dad, I'm okay. I'm working on my business. I don't think it will be fair in my relationship when I'm so busy, when my husband or my wife will feel ignored and neglected because I'm still sorting some things out. Right? So, when we have a healthy relationship with ourselves, when we are working on ourselves, that is why we study psychology. That is why we study psychological tips. Right? You don't have to get a psychology degree, I don't mean that. What I mean is reading articles. Because many of us have already figured out, life doesn't stop teaching. Life doesn't stop teaching, right? Life doesn't stop teaching. And sometimes the only way we learn is when we encounter people who take advantage of us because we spend so much quality time with them. You neglect yourself. And when you realize they don't even appreciate how much time you invested in them, you realize, that is me. And that's where empowerment comes. Where you take responsibility that is me. I invested so heavily in them, I forgot about myself. Why is that? What is it about me that I don't want to face? These are all questions I had to challenge myself, especially when I was working long hours in the NHS. What is it am I unwilling to confront? Why do I have to spend 12 hours caring for everybody else? When will I take care of me? And I know these are not easy decisions because you have to support yourself, and it can be quite frightening, yes, to start a whole new life, start a whole new business that will support the new lifestyle. Oh my goodness, London Sirens. I think it's Lisa Nichols, the coach that talks about abundance now. I love that lady. She's just so fun. Lisa Nichols, check her out. She said there has to come a time where you start paying attention to you. There has to come a time where you realize abundance is your birthright. That is why I speak up, because I know as I speak up, I'm encouraging other people to speak up. As I speak up, that's why we all must be speaking up, because the more of us that are speaking up, we're helping other people to become more confident in their abilities. So a healthy relationship with ourselves is the most powerful thing. I don't need another man to tell me Meg, you are beautiful, you're amazing, and it's good, but it's just a bonus because I'm already telling myself that. Okay, take me to verify. Ah, nah, nah. So please do not volunteer for bad relationships because you're feeling lonely. You are not alone. Come hang out with good coaches like Coach Meg. You're not alone. Come online and hang out with quality people. You're not alone. When you come off the live stream, write down what you learned from that live stream. Let everything that you are doing is enhancing your quality of life. I hope that is making sense. Yes? Why waste your time? Why? We shouldn't. We have to get to a place where we love ourselves so much that everything you do is like, is this helping me or it's hurting me? And when we are being honest with ourselves, you will know that, for example, I saw another video. I laughed so hard. I won't say the country, but this girl posted and said, I was about to fall in love with this man from a certain African background, but I could hear the coach in my head going, run, run, run. I laughed so hard because I could relate. I had a similar experience. So, somebody else commented and said, there are people of a certain mindset where even in a relationship, they are aggressive. It's like you have to match their energy. It is exhausting. When you know yourself that you are gentle, you are a queen, you are elegant, you are classy, and then the person who shows you interest has that aggressive nature. They may hide it at first. They will try to come to your level because that's what chameleons do, because they really like something about you. Because there are people who will do whatever it takes to have you. They think they have to have you. They think you are going to fix their addiction. That's not love. Anyway, he can pretend to, like you, but if he's got this weird toxic energy, aggressive, where everything has to go his way, be honest with yourself. How long are you going to keep up? Because if he's a chameleon and you also agree to be a chameleon, so there are two chameleons in the relationship, you're both pretending. Sooner or later, sooner or later, there's going to be an explosion. I'm not saying this from nowhere. Let me. I went on this amazing date. Really fun. The whole atmosphere. So I said to I said to one of the guys that was serving, thank you so much. This is such excellent service. I appreciate you. Ooh, boy. My date wanted to fly off the handle. My date got jealous. Bizarre. Do you have to talk to everybody? Yes, you see, deep insecurities. Listen, guys, if there's any guys here listening, or even us women, it's okay to admit. That is why I'm talking about relationships, right? A healthy relationship with ourselves is really important. Whatever makes you feel insecure, start working on it. Because the right person will come. The right person will come. Oh yes, no, that relationship didn't last. Oh yeah. And I didn't know until that incident. It was such a glamorous event. I was all dressed up in red. I love my journey. I've got so many interesting stories. Because up until that point, I didn't know. I have met people in my life who don't need to be insecure about anything, because there are people who will not recognize what they have going for them. I kid you not. It's really sad to see. There are people who will not recognize what they have going for them. When something or someone amazing comes across their way, they mismanage it. They just like, I have to contain him, I have to contain her. They don't recognize what's going for them, and they allow their insecurities to be the lead player in their life. I watched an interesting film yesterday with my family. It was incredible, but that's a topic for another day. But anyhow, we all have something that isn't working right. Yes, we all have something that is not quite 100%. That is why life is social. That is why life is a community. We're doing all these live streams, learning from one another, right? And that is why nobody has to have this arrogant, because even healthy confidence doesn't mean I don't need the right people in my world. And the more you love yourself, the more you start believing in yourself that I don't have to be perfect, but I have to recognize what I have going for me. Then amplify that. Amplify that. That yes, I may even have people in my world who know some of my weaknesses, absolutely. But if the people who are in your world, if they really love you for who you are, they will not take whatever is not your strength to work against you. Like, oh well, after all, oh remember this, oh by the way, like wait, what? Then you know, that's a red flag even in our own family relationships. Yes? And I must say, like in that incident, I know better now. I wasn't that wise then. I would not have agreed to pursue that relationship. Of course it didn't last anyway. I would not have continued in that relationship. Because even as I was, going on dates and all this, I could see this guy is still traumatized from his ex. She did a number on him. Charming guy. I was like, you're not safe to date. So I could tell. Listen guys, protect your heart. That is why I'm talking about relationships. And the most important relationship we will all ever have is the relationship you have with you. You have to be willing to protect your heart. And I worked too hard to get to where I am to allow somebody else to come and mess about with what I've worked hard to become. That is where we all need to be. Number one, relationship with me, right? Because you are your number one asset. You can have a job, you can lose a job, you can get another job. You can go bankrupt, you lose a business, you can start another business. Somebody can steal your company, they can take your company, they can try and con you and all that. But because you understand what's going for you, you value your assets, who you are. Thank you so much, Epic London Channel. I appreciate you. You can start another business. Or you can even get your business back. There's a lady, some of you know her, Grassfields. Yes, she's here on social media, on TikTok. She lost her company to some scammer, somebody who started working with her. But because she knew what was going for her, she managed to get the company back, from what I've followed so far anyway. Because when you are building yourself up, this is what a lot of people who, they don't even share this knowledge, but now we've got social media, we start to learn these ideas. How do other people think? How do they stay millionaires and billionaires? How do they stay in a great relationship for years? Other people, their relationships don't survive in Hollywood, but other people, their relationships have been stable for years. Celebrities are just ordinary people like everybody else, but all they do is they work hard at what they do, their skill set. That's all. So a celebrity is not anybody to idolize. God says, do not have other gods before me. When you idolize other people, you start seeing yourself as less than. You learn from them, you can model, like the confidence of J-Lo. The work ethic of Michael Jackson. Right? Oh yeah. I have been living life, right? The work ethic of Steve Jobs. I've shared with other people before that we can model something that is good about somebody. You don't have to be a cult follower. You can learn, like the confidence of Oprah Winfrey. How she challenged the network. Why am I not being paid like somebody else? That's what Oprah Winfrey in her early days, the bit that I read about her story. Like, why am I not being paid like the other person? And she was told, oh, do you have a family like him? He's getting more money because he has a big family. And she was willing to challenge that. Where does that confidence come from? Anybody can develop that confidence. The confidence to stand up for yourself. The confidence to decide, I'm going to leverage social media and build an amazing business. I'm not going to accept that I'm always going to stay on this level in life. Come on, come on. Do you have to stay in a toxic relationship because you are legally married? Do you have to stay with somebody who is disrespectful, having affairs with other women? What? A person who disrespects himself, even dating. If you're coming around here, get yourself ready, boy. Get yourself ready before you come around here, boy. If you haven't sorted your insecurity issues, keep it moving. I'm not available. I'm not available. What is interesting to me is creepy, weird people like energy. They like confident people. The good, the bad, and the ugly. You don't build yourself up to lose it to a time waster. And, okay, let's be honest. It's real life, right? We watch this in the media. If you sort yourself out, because life is life, life happens, and you still meet somebody for some reason, they do something, they mess you about. Because I'm not talking about where you're living a life where you're just so close, you're paranoid. It's just about being wise and smart. But I am trying to give freedom here. Maybe you made a mistake again. You have to be willing to be like, you know what? I made my mistake, I'm going to fix it, I'm moving on. I made my mistake, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to move on. This is how we know we are healing, because you realize I alone am responsible for the choices that I made, and I can move on from it. People may judge me, people will talk about this, that, and the other. I must sort myself out. That's the level of freedom I'm talking about, where you give yourself permission that should I make a mistake, an error in judgment, because sometimes, now with social media, who knows, somebody can be following you for 3 years. There was a story here on social media where this lady and her daughter, they ended up going to jail for something. I think they were involved in some huge mess. Influencers. They got roped into some relationship with a guy who his only motive was to destroy their reputation online. Did you know there are people who study your influence online? And they will use that. Scammers, of course, that's the name. Am I allowed to say this on TikTok? I'm not sure. TikTok, can I say this? They will use your social media influence against you. They will disguise, use an image of somebody else, and you think it's a good looking woman who likes me, or it's a good looking guy, but behind that is some person with ulterior motives, heartless, cold, evil, demonic. I had a story which I can't even share on here. I was like, I need to be active on social media because I may just protect somebody's life. Social media is a place to be wise and to be smart. We cannot be naive. So be intentional. That is what I mean by owning your space online. It is better to meet, when it comes to close relationships, I think it's wiser to meet people in person. Build the confidence where you have somebody who you can check out. And I know people have options. People have to decide. Everybody has to make their own choice. Everybody has to make their own choice. It is better people you can actually meet in person and verify. And he actually has in real life. Our lives can't just be on social media. That is not clever. That is not smart. Yes. So number one, a healthy relationship with yourself. Before you go to bed, love who you are. If there's any problem you couldn't fix that day, this is high level thinking. Accept I couldn't fix certain problems, because whatever challenge we're dealing with, we are responsible for fixing that problem. Nobody else. We are responsible for fixing the problems that are in our lives, because we all have a certain mindset that creates certain problems in our lives. We all have those things. Everybody does. And we have to be willing to change our mindset. So we're talking about relationships, right? When you look at your relationship CV, we have to be honest and say, you know what? I was choosing the same kind of person with different names, with different income, but it was the same kind of person. With the same kind of person. It's the same kind of person. Because there are people who don't recognize what's going for them. I have seen it in real life. It is really sad to see. Another guy I knew, this was just like a distant friend. Really nice job, 6-figure potential. Relocated to the UK. Could do really well, have a nice life. But because of relationship choices, his whole life was drama, chaos. Drama, chaos. Now tell me, when you have drama and chaos all around your life, day in, day out, can you really concentrate to build an amazing business? Can you build an amazing lifestyle? When you have somebody who doesn't understand what's going for them, who doesn't understand autonomy, there's nothing wrong with being single for a while. There's absolutely there's nothing wrong with that. Spending quality time by yourself. Filling your time with healthy recreational activity. Finding time to spend with quality people who are responsible for their emotional well-being. People who are responsible for their psychological well-being. Who realize, I don't think straight. I remember several years ago saying to one of my brothers, because of some similar experiences, I said to him, in life, there has to come a time where you sit down with yourself and you say, I don't have a healthy perspective about this issue. Right? Where we are willing to confront ourselves. Because there's always somebody else who is willing to teach you how to live your life. There's always somebody willing to use you for where they want to go. There's always somebody. And to some people, you're just a placeholder. They're not even interested in a relationship with you. And if you are in that situation, I hope that you will know that you can heal. If you've been a placeholder in somebody's life, they took advantage of you, you can heal, you'll be okay. You just need to decide to start loving yourself, to heal, get a therapist, work with a coach, and get your life back on track. Here in the diaspora, here in the West, relationship issues can be dealt with a therapist and a coach. Do not just assume you understand, and just because you watch some TikTok, some YouTube accounts, that you got it. No. Coaching helps you to actually start putting into practice what you have learned. That's the challenge of coaching. Nobody must underestimate the value of coaching. I would pay whatever it takes to work with a coach. I would invest whatever it takes to work with a coach. Whether with time or with financial resources. Because a coach helps you to save time, wasting time. Instead of learning the same lesson for 10 years, you can start implementing, and within 90 days, 6 months, a year, your whole life has changed. There's a guy on YouTube. His company is called Founder, I think it is. I can't remember, but he's really big on talking about personal branding. Really nice guy. Very good with communication. Anyway, the part that I see, I don't know who he is as a person, but I like what he represents anyway. He said how he had to hire a coach, and he worked with this coach for 2 years because he knew he had to change his mindset. Smart people realize that I have knowledge gaps. Smart people realize I have knowledge gaps. So we've been talking tonight, working with Coach Meg, just having this relationship discussion. If anything I've said resonates with you, take action. Do not overthink it. But it's up to you. If it's just like, oh, this is nice. I'm one of those coaches, when I come on here, I want to empower people to take action, to save yourself time. I want you to start living your best life. And that is not to say your life is not good. I'm talking about getting to the next level. I was saying to one amazing lady, I said, you know what? Let's rephrase what you said. It's about taking your life to the next level because you've had an amazing life so far. Do not feel working with a coach means your whole life has been rubbish. No. Working with a coach is just identifying, okay, let's take this to the next level. Let me challenge myself to start putting some habits into practice, right? Like every single day. Coach Meg says, if you want to accomplish these goals, you may have to start waking up early, like 5 o'clock, because you've got a full-time job that starts at 7. So that means there are some friendships that will have to just dissipate because they are not important right now. Because some friendships are placeholders, they waste our time. There are some friendships, instead of studying, reading a book, listening to a podcast, writing notes, you're busy on the phone trying to fix somebody's problem. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody asks you for help to help them with the relationship? They disrupt your own relationship. And then you thought they're going to take action, they're going to fix that relationship. So you decide to follow up, and that person is like, oh no, there's no problem, the relationship is fine. It's like a silent way or a polite way of saying, get lost. Mine's fine. There are people like that. They will interfere with your own relationship. And then, when you try to follow up, like, no, we're good, we're fine. This is real, guys. This is real life. That's why I charge with coaching. And my coaching prices reflect it. If somebody's not willing to level up, we can't work together. We can't. because I know what it took for me to become and be at where I think the way I think, When I was in high school, not in high school, when I was doing my nurse training in my previous life, healthcare background, one of our lecturers, he said, be careful of your friends who they study at night, but in the daytime, they're busy telling you because they need somebody to party with them. They'll be busy saying, oh, come on, you study too hard. Let's go party. Let's go have a party. But they've already been studying, right? Now you, because of feeling lonely, you really need friends. You go party with them. When exam time comes, you don't even do as good as you could have. Because guess what? You went partying with your friends. Who gets the lesson from that? From real life, right? There are some guys, and I mean this for men and women, they use you as a placeholder. They enjoy going on dates with you. Some people are so obvious, it's almost insulting. You can tell they're not fully invested in the relationship. You can tell. It's even showing in their face. They're distracted when you're talking. You can tell. They're using you as a placeholder. When they start feeling better and stronger, they're off. Have you heard of women saying, she was with this guy for many years? I would never do that, by the way. Build up a guy, pay for him to go to college. I would never do that. How very dare you. Pay for him to go to college. And, okay, I don't know the experience. Maybe there are some people who are, they are still loyal and faithful, whatever. I would never do that nonsense. Then he meets somebody new. Within 6 months or within a year, they're married. But with you, you were in a cohabitation. You were living together. Never fully committed. Men and women do this. Never fully committed. They meet somebody new and they're off. These are real things that we cannot pretend don't exist. But how do we overcome those things when we're not willing to face ourselves, right? How do we overcome? How do you recover from that? You invest in somebody. I don't know how people do it. That is why I like to say, when you start working on your own journey, you have a great relationship with you. You're honest with yourself. You are correcting with yourself. You're correcting yourself like, I need to be responsible for my own expenses, number one. I don't need to be using somebody else to cover my expenses. It's a bonus if they're able and they can help me. That's good. But whether they are there or not, I can still manage my expenses. And even if I can't manage right now, I am working on a plan that I can manage. That is why I created this coaching program, Owning Your Space. So that when you sort out all the little skills, the habits that stop us from being consistent, dealing with your soul, your mind, will, and emotions, it doesn't matter if somebody supports you or not, you're okay. Because I think sometimes that's why it can be hard. When you expect people to support you and they don't, it can be tough going, right? Yes, let's be honest. It can be tough going when nobody's supporting you. But what if this is how it is supposed to be? So that when you build your life for yourself, nobody can say, I helped you become this. I did this for you. Now you must work for me the rest of your life. Wait, what? Wait, what? There is a celebrity, some of us know who she is. There is a celebrity, somebody, I won't mention her name. I think her first marriage, this guy apparently helped her to build her career. I won't say which industry. So he felt like she owes him the rest of her life. Because with that comes this like irresponsible behavior. There is no, I don't know where that is. I think it's because that is rooted in darkness. It's demonic, it's evil. So at some point, she recognized the toxicity, the manipulative behavior, relationship over. We, you don't have to go through every experience other people have gone through. It's like learn from other people's mistakes. Do not say, no, that can't happen to me. That cannot happen to me. Okay. I've got a book. I've got a book that has been helping me many years, changing course, where there are some stories we hear happening to other people, and you can arrogantly say, no, that can't happen to me. A man will not do something like that to me. Oh, you're going to cry, my friend. You are going to cry tears. I'm even changing my accent. You are going to cry. Do not think because you've got a certain look or you have a certain background or whatever it is. Number one, have a healthy relationship with yourself. Helps you to be honest with yourself, and it also gives you a sense of humility to check things out, a sense of autonomy. If somebody has these wild claims, check people out. Even there are people who never recover because they thought it can never happen to them, so they didn't do any due diligence. It's not just for property in our lives. We need to be doing due diligence when it comes to relationships. Know yourself, yes? So what are your values? I'm going to be wrapping up with this. What are your values? Let's be honest with ourselves. What really matters to me? What is important to me? I'm not sure what your spiritual background is, but because many of us don't know what our spiritual background is, take a Bible, read for yourself. Not because Coach Meg said it, just take it for yourself. So that you can have a healthy debate with people who may say otherwise, because you read for yourself. And just pray and say, God, show me the truth. Let me know what I need to know. Because life is exciting, it's fun. But when you know the truth for yourself, you'll start picking up people's weird energy. There are people who even come to church, but their whole plan is to see who they can trick. They are looking for vulnerable targets. They are looking for broken women who've never recovered from the family background. They are looking for people who have never recovered from the trauma of their childhood. There are people that is their full-time job. And it can be scary to think that is real. That is real. So what are your values? Number one, give yourself time to work with a therapist. Give yourself time to understand what you agree to. Ooh, I can't forget to say that. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I can't forget to say this. Do not agree with anything other people say about you. I don't care what the cultural background is. Do not agree with what other people say about themselves. We are all individuals. We are all individuals. There are some traditions in the African culture that I don't agree with. I choose the good ones, but there are some I don't agree with. I will not get involved. I don't agree with it. Because I understand the spiritual problems that can come with certain cultural traditions. You start inviting problems in your life that you don't even know how the heck to deal with them. You can't just date anyone. You can't be a friend to anyone. You can have lifelong friends who, the day they'll get a chance to destroy your character, they will take it. And you see, being honest with yourself helps to also see people who are being authentic, yes? Because you're operating from the light, a place of knowledge. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth that you continue in, the truth that you continue walking in. Yes, that is why this changing of what are my values now? What do I care about? Thank you, Epic London Channel. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the likes. What matters to you? What is important to you? Because you see, when you can stand strong by yourself, when you think like a king and a queen, you'll be okay. You'll start to attract the right people in your world. And you also know the people who've been there for you when things were not even working out. When you had a few followers, you will know the people who supported you when you had a few followers. And the people who only support you when you blow up. There are people who will only be in touch with you when you blow up. I love life. Life is so good. Life is good. Life is great. Life is great. Life is interesting. There are people who only show interest in you when you start dating somebody else. A public, when they see you dating somebody else publicly, that's when they get interested in you. Wait, what? You didn't see me before? You liked me as long as you could control when you make a move. You like me in private? What the heck is that nonsense about? Make your cards. Show your cards. What is the point of liking somebody in secret? What's the benefit? Secret admirers, right? What nonsense is that? As I said before I close, understand what you agree with. Who are you? What are your values? What are your priorities before you go to bed when you wake up? Autonomy. Check out Dr. Benjamin Hardy, an organizational psychologist. How to 10x your life. Amazing content. How to 10x your life. How to 10x your life. Where you decide this is what is important to me. If you struggled, or your parents struggled financially or relationships, you decide that ends with me. That was then, this is now. I'm going to be the first. So that is why our priorities are different. Everybody has different values, even at work. There are some people, they are there just because they are in passing. So what are you agreeing to? Are you agreeing to stay on the same salary, the same income? Because that is a decision. Or are you willing to challenge yourself like, oh, it's good, the followers are going. When we are willing to challenge ourselves like, okay, what do I need to learn? What do I need to start doing? Let me just break it down easily for those of us, the few of us that are left. Agree that it is possible to learn your skill set. It is possible to be consistent. Start posting on social media consistently. Do not be overly concerned with the hooks and all this. Just start. Talk about your own journey. Oh, I'm learning how to cook a certain recipe. If you don't want to talk about your personal stuff, which you don't have to anyway. Nobody has to know everything about you on social media. No. No. I like Epic London Channel shows about different parts of London. You can start with anything and just be consistent. As you're building community, you can switch things around. Okay, this is what I now want to be talking about, because you're also building your personal brand. Our personal brand is who you are, what you care about, and that can change. Like for me, I'm focused about coaching and marketing, but who knows, in the next 2 years, I may switch to something else. I may not be doing coaching and marketing, right? And anybody who's not willing to follow with my change, that's okay. Because life is organic. You can't always be doing the same thing. But people who are groomed to believe this is all you need to know, this is how I know you know, I'm free to change my brand. At the core, I'm still who I am, but I'm just doing something different now. So listen guys, be careful what you agree to. Value what you care about. Protect it jealously. Value what is important to you. Place a huge priority on what matters to you. Because who knows, after this live stream, I may have saved somebody from another useless, heartbreaking relationship. We don't need to go through heartbreak after heartbreak, because there comes a time where people become hard, cynical, they don't like relationships, and they're living a lonely life. There's a lot of loneliness in the West, apparently. There's a lot of loneliness. So Coach Meg has to talk about this: relationships, friendships. If you want to have good friends, be your best friend, number one. Be your best friend yourself first, right? This content is going to go on other platforms as well, which is good. All my content, everything I do, it's never wasted. Even if there are few people on here, it doesn't bother me. I'm saying that out loud for myself anyway, because it's going to continue. This is evergreen content. When you are your own best friend first, then you can be another healthy friend to somebody else. You will not be a toxic friend. When your friend is busy working on something, you can be kind and like, oh, she's just busy, we'll catch up. You won't be like, oh, she doesn't pay me attention. Oh, she's only thinking about her life. Wait a minute. Anyhow, listen guys, if anything I've said to you resonates with you, I'm wrapping up. This has been good. I've really enjoyed myself on here. I noticed there was a lot of engagement. I was talking about self-care and loving who you are, being your best friend. That has been so empowering. I could feel the flow. That was really good. Value who you are. Make yourself number one. But be honest enough to be consistent with the new habits, the new identity, so that you are building healthy relationships. Because who has time for toxicity? Who has time for drama, unnecessary drama? When you're trying to build generational wealth, when you're trying to build something amazing, when you're trying to create a legacy, who has time for this nonsense and drama? Who has time for that? Appreciate you. Bye for now. I will see you on another live stream.